Hey guys, welcome to Something for Fun, Something for Faith. And now we're going to ask a very important question. Can you tenderize meat with pineapple?
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Can you tenderize meat with pineapple? Alright, so just like we did a couple weeks ago, we had that steak, the eye of round, right? And it was really tough, but we found a way to tenderize it, right? We tenderized it with a mallet, and we add a lot of bacon fat to it to add a lot of flavor, right? And also some tenderness. Today, we have the other half of that eye round, alright? I went ahead and I trimmed off that big piece of fat that was on the back just like before. Again, only keep that fat if you're cooking it in a crock pot slow cooker, because that's going to melt that fat down. We're cooking it a little too fast with sears and stuff. What you're going to do is you're going to take it and place it right into this bag. You're not going to pound it, nothing. We're just going to leave it like this. And we're going to use a pineapple. So we're going to go ahead and chop the top off. But we're staying really close to the top. Notice how little I use there, alright? Get rid of that. I'm going to chop the bottom. Alright? And now, this is what's crazy. Normally when you cut a pineapple, you're going to trim up, peel off the sides and everything. But here's the thing. On the skin and in the fruit itself are enzymes. And those enzymes are going to help us break down the meat. So we're going to look at the core right here in the middle. We're going to cut around the core. Alright, cutting around the core. Now we're going to take the pineapple with the skin. We're going to chop it down. And now that our pineapple is all cubed up, we're going to blend it. Add 2/3 of a cup of water to your pineapple. And now, we blend.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
If nautical nonsense be something you wish.
I'm going to pour this. Top our steak. Try to get as much of the air out as possible. And now we're going to take this and we're going to put it in the fridge for 2 hours. See you guys in 2 hours.
Oh, now where are we gonna sleep?
Alright guys, it's been about 2 hours. Let's go ahead and check the fridge. Looks like a lot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it over the sink, drain this out. Some nice lukewarm water, light strain. Just rinse this off. So we're going to pat it dry. We're just going to lay it there. And if you look at the color of this, it's a lot grayer than before because the pineapple did its job. And you can look, it's already, look at this. It's already starting to separate. You can see it all the way around. So what we've got now is the steak, the enzyme has come in and started to eat away at the fibers and break this down just a little bit. Alright, so it's going to be a lot more tender than the last steak that we cooked. And now that we have the steak out, you might be thinking, alright, time to cook? No, hold up. The steak has been in the fridge for 2 hours. One of the most important things to do when you have a steak is let it sit out and get to room temp. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking they have to cook a steak right out of the fridge and it can't get warm. Let the steak sit. Let it sit for at least 30 minutes till it gets to about room temperature. So while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and prep the sauce that we're gonna be cooking the steak in. I've already come over here and I've chopped up about 2.5, 3 sprigs of rosemary. All right, so we have some rosemary, some mustard, some salt and pepper, some fresh garlic, and some oil. Great Papon Dijon mustard. You can use whatever mustard you want. Regular yellow mustard, spicy brown mustard. I just like Great Papon. I think it has a better flavor profile for this. Pour this in. We're going to be putting in our rosemary. We're going to put in some salt, some pepper. And now we're going to be using some garlic. There, I'll put that right in there. Oil. Put that in there. You can use olive oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use avocado oil, whatever oil you want to use. I prefer extra virgin olive oil. We're just going to mix this up. Oh, look at that. So now that's ready, we're going to set that to the side near our steak. And now we're going to go ahead and wait the rest of the time that we need till the steak is about room temperature, and then we'll get cooking. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright guys, so it's about time. The steak is warmed up, and now we're going to go ahead and prep it. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our lovely mixture, and this is another thing guys. The reason why we did our mixture earlier was because if you have any of those ingredients that are in the fridge, you mix it now and put it on, you're going to make the steak cold. And the whole problem is if you put a steak on a hot pan cold, you're going to cool the pan down and you're going to slow down the cooking process. So as we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and pop this onto a little bit less than high heat. Let the pan heat up. Alright? We're going to cover it with our mixture. Brush it all over the meat. You want to get this mixture all over it. Okay, now remember to preheat your oven to 250, all right? Preheat 250 because we're gonna finish this off in the oven. We're only gonna get a nice sear on it, and we're sticking in the oven for a long period of time, anywhere between 15-30 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. Not too much, just enough to coat the whole pan. And then we're gonna take the steak, put in the oil. And then look at that, an instant sizzle. That's exactly what you want. All right, let's give it a flip. Always flip away from you. Oh, look at that. Now you notice I still left this on the cutting board. Because when we put this into the oven, before we put it in, we're gonna give it a quick little once over. Now, if you notice the pan I'm using, I got a little wire rack. And the reason is this is such a thick piece of meat, we don't want it to be sitting on the bottom of the pan and getting sort of like what we're getting right here on the stovetop, which is direct heat. We wanna get some indirect heat. So by sustaining it on the wire rack, we now have created indirect heat for the steak, and therefore it's gonna cook more evenly all the way through. And guys, if you don't have a rack, that's okay. You can still cook it without a rack. Just put it on the pan, put some tin foil down. I just like to use the rack. I'm gonna get a little bit better of a cook. It's not gonna get on the bottom. If we do this right, there shouldn't be any gray around the outside. It should be all red on the inside with a nice sear on the outside. All right, now here's another thing, guys. Right now you probably say, okay, we're done. We're not. You want to make sure you sear all the sides. This is a very big roast, all right? So we're actually going to lift it up and sear that side that normally wouldn't get seared. That's about it. And now, take it, stick it on our wire rack.
Smells so good.
Now, we're gonna take the rest of this sauce. If it's still in your bowl, that's fine. And we're just gonna do a nice light coat. We're not gonna go as thick as we did before. It's gonna be amazing. All right guys, so now we're gonna put it in the oven. Again, oven's at 250. We're gonna finish this off. So we're gonna check it at about like 15-20 minutes to see where we're at. Most likely I'm gonna need to add another 10 to that. We're trying to get to 130. 130 to 135 is your medium rare temperature. That's exactly where we want to be for this kind of cut of meat, especially with it being so lean. So we want to try to cook it at that medium rare temperature. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right guys, it hit the temperature about 130, 132. So we've taken it out. Again, just like the last time we did steak, we gotta let it rest.
Sweet dreams, Gary.
All right, if we cut into it now, all those juices are gonna fall right out. Remember, this is a very lean steak. You gotta keep those juices in, let it settle, let it sit. So right now we're gonna prepare our crostini. All right, so basically we're gonna cut this crostini. All right, we're gonna cut out a nice little bias. We're gonna turn on our heat and add some oil. Alright guys, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix up our little bit of the spread that's going to go in our crostini. So we'll grab our mixing bowl and we'll start with some horseradish sauce. We'll add some salt, some pepper, some parsley flakes, and some oil. Now let's just cut into it and see what we have. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Take the horseradish sauce, spread it. Some parsley. And there you have it, steak crostini. How's my fish?
Full.
The difference between this steak and the steak we made the other week, exact same kind of steak, but that pineapple did the trick. It just cut in. The mustard on the outside, that mustard base, amazing, and then the horseradish sauce just ties it together. It's such a good appetizer. Heck, I'd eat that for a meal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stick around, we got some more stuff going on today.
There you are. Bonjour. Get to your station and prepare me your best dish.
Hey guys, I hope you really enjoyed that steak crostini. I'm really excited. Tasted so good, and really hope that at home you guys get a chance to cook that with your parents or by yourself or with some friends. Again, cheapest cut of steak. I mean, come on. $14 for that much steak is ridiculous. It's cheaper than buying a sirloin at Applebee's. So really hope that this gives you an opportunity to do something together. On top of that, let's go ahead and reflect upon what we just did and how we can bring that to God. So we took the steak, that, again, just like the one a couple weeks ago that was really tough, and we found a new way to tenderize it. We put it inside that pineapple, right? Which is crazy, and we let the enzymes break it down. I bet you didn't know that that's possible. But when we did that, all of a sudden the meat came out different. It was changed, all right? You could visibly see it was changed. You could, if you were in my position or you did it yourself, you could feel that it was changed, and you could see the difference. And it's the same thing when we come to be Christians. We're called to transformative change in our life. Far too often, we walk into a relationship with God and we don't change. And that's the issue. We're called to change. But here's the thing, guys. Change is not always fun. This is something I've said in youth group before, and I'll say it again for those of you who may not have heard it. Everyone wants change. Think about it. New Year's resolution, right? Everyone wants to get a trimmer body. Everyone wants to eat better. Everyone wants to be healthier. Everyone wants to whatever. So they love the idea of change. It's the process. It's transformation. The process of change that people don't like, because there has to be something that happens. Commitment, time, and more importantly, brokenness. And this is the reality. God is calling us to be broken. Now, we hear the word broken and we think, whoa, hold on, Pastor Mike, like that's a little bit too far. I think we're using the wrong verbiage there. No, seriously, God calls you to be broken. Look what he says in Isaiah 64. He says, yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay, you are the potter. We are the work of your hand. You see, the imagery there is God, our Father, as the potter. So if you think about a potter and clay, right? The potter takes this lump of clay and it's hard, it's solid, it's dried out, and it doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to change. And then God adds water to it and he starts to force change into this lump of clay. He starts to break it down and change it completely, just as we saw with the steak. You can even look at the verse that talks about as iron sharpens iron, right? Think about that. When you look at blacksmiths, they take a piece of iron that's hard, it's cold, it's already forged, and it's like, well, we're gonna redo this, and we're gonna heat it up, and we're gonna bang out all the imperfections. We're gonna hammer it out. And there's gonna be a lot of sparks flying, there's gonna be a lot of friction, there's gonna be a lot of breaking that happens. See, this is what happens when there is change in your life. That change comes with brokenness as you break down and become moldable and become malleable. That's the reality. And God's calling you to be malleable. But in order for you to do that, you first need to be broken. And that's what God wants to see in you. Now, a lot of us are afraid of that. Well, what happens when I'm broken? I'm left down in this horrible place where I'm in pieces. But I got good news for you. God's breaking you down so he can build you up. So he can make you this beautiful masterpiece. So he can bring you into, as it says in Colossians 3, this new creation. You're called to be changed into his image, to become like his son. And that takes brokenness, that takes humility, that takes trust. As we talked about a lot about the importance of trust in our relationship with God. So guys, this is the challenge this week. I want you to go on our Instagram page, at CC Youth, and I want you to write about a time where you were broken and God built you up. And just be open. Alright, you don't have to give too many details if it's really deep, but just give us a little bit of encouragement of a time where you changed. And then specifically write down what the before and after picture is, right? Before I was like this, and now I'm like this. Let me give you an example of my own life, because I think that'll make this a little bit easier. For me, I grew up, I was in high school, believe it or not, all right? I went to college, and I wasn't the best student in high school or in college, really, a little bit better in college. But for me, I was so misguided in my faith for a very long time, where I thought I knew everything, as most young people do. Thought I knew everything and had it all down. And it took the Marine Corps and some certain things in my life where God just broke me to the most inner core of my being. And I went, oh, this isn't fun. But then God built me up. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. If the man sitting before you right now was the same as he was 10 years ago, this man would not be your youth pastor. Take the analogy of like a sword. I was like a piece of iron that was just taken out of the ground and wasn't even formed yet. And God had to break me down and form me and sharpen my edges so that I could be effective in the way that I was meant to be. So guys, go ahead and post that for us. What are some things that have happened with you where you've seen God break you down but then build you up into that new creation and just make something new in your life? And if you're struggling to think of a time, guys, this is an awesome and great opportunity for you in this time of let's be honest, lots of time available. Talk to your parents, talk to a leader, talk to myself or ads, shoot us an email, shoot us a call, and just talk to us about, hey, I'm really struggling with this. I know this is an area where I need to let God be the Lord of my life. I need to let him mold me and shape me, but I can't let go. What do I need to do? What are some things I can do? And seek out that counsel. Seek out that wise counsel. Guys, this is an awesome opportunity. I really hope that you see the importance of change in your life. Because as I've said before, and I'll say again, you can look through all creation, everything that's ever been made, everything that is made, anything that is living, right? Anything that's living, there is no growth without change. There's no growth without change. And if you guys want to grow in your relationship with God, there's going to be some change. And that change comes from brokenness. So guys, thanks so much for joining this week. We're looking forward to reading your posts, praying with you. And guys, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and we'll see you guys next week. God bless.